Oh, my Lord, this here is going to be a good one. Who would have thought that something that a horny grandma wrote a long time ago in New York City, she wrote this word for word, could have and can and will make you more money anytime and every time you speak for the rest of your life. And we'll show you, go over here today, how one of our clients used this to replace his yearly income as an engineer in 20 minutes, partly because of this. Let's get into it. Now, I can't make this stuff up. Just today, I was on a Zoom call with a coach, and she knows me mainly as a public speaking coach, but she was like, how does that work again? How do you create six-figure days? And because she thinks of me as a speaking coach, she's thinking there's like some secret words you say or how you say it or a way of holding yourself on. No, it's nothing to, this is the middle part. This needs to be sandwiched between an actual offer people want, which we'll go over here to do this today, and client selection, which we'll go over this today as an example. So the speaking part, what you say, how you communicate the crowd so that people feel like buying what you want to sell them, is sandwiched between having a six-figure day offer and then learning how to communicate and close that offer in one-to-many situations. Anyway, let's get back on the road here. Keep this in mind as we're going through the reveal here of Jane Juska's ad, and we'll cross-reference this with one of our clients, Alex. So she ran an ad. Here's a retired grandma named Jane Juska. I was reading a book called Predatory Thinking by Dave Trott, this book here, and this ad was so good, okay? So good, that ad that the grandma wrote, that it's featured in 2 books. She had to write a whole book about the ad, and it's featured here, which is a marketing book. She said, before I turn, then she mentions an age, which is called a damaging admission. If you look at Ed Mylett on stage, he does that all the time. Certain countries, if you brag about yourself, in the States, you can easily brag about yourself. It's even called, like if you look at ad templates, it's called insert humble brag here. It's commonplace, it's normal. Some countries, you can't brag about yourself because it rubs people the wrong way. Depending on where you live, where you're watching this, you can brag or not. But there's a concept called the damaging admission. That's the M&M trick. So if you're selling something and you're writing your copy, if you know that your product has a certain thing, if you talk about it, they can't bring you down on it. On stage, Ed Mylett made a joke about his height or something like this. You gotta love Ed Mylett, by the way, the cool guy. She says, before I turn 67. Okay, so she writes a classified ad, and she says, before I turn 67. Now, this is a dating ad. She wrote this for dating purposes. To give you an example of how I turned 67, I was putting together an offer for a client in the dating niche, and I signed up to a dating site as a woman. So I just took the most regular image I could find of a regular woman. I put that there, and I put a regular, nothing attractive, very simple words, just to put a profile to see what is their reality, what is their experience on dating sites. Now, I've never been on dating sites. I've been in a couple now for over 15 years. I don't have a cell phone. I have feed blockers on my. I don't do social media much, so I was not aware. I wanted to know what is their experience. The woman I put was in her 50s. I put the ad up. I went to grab myself like a cup of coffee or something. I came back. I had 7 or 10 replies already. Boom, in minutes. It's just like a non-stop barrage of, I had to stop it. It's crazy. That's what it is. She starts with a damaging admission. Before I turn 67, next March. So, she brings in urgency into the mix. Okay? So, before I turn, damaging admission, urgency. If you're selling anything you're selling online, people know that the timer you put on your page is a bogus timer. You have to have real urgency. Something is cooking. There's a flash sale for Black Friday is coming up, or there's Christmas. There's a date set in time that's not moving. Before, damaging admission, next month. Time date. I'd like to have. Now, what I teach people is I always teach you for your talk or your whatever you're doing to match what you're selling to the inherent drives of the marketplace. So, Thoughts affect us. The way what we think affects how we feel, but thoughts don't affect us as much as beliefs. And beliefs, because a belief is a thought that you believed pretty much, and you rolled yourself into it. But then values affect us more than beliefs. So a belief is I can believe in Santa Claus or not, but a value is like, oh, I value intimacy, I value friendship, I value loyalty. So values have more power than beliefs. But then values have less of a torque than drives. Like think sex drive, survival drive, status drive, spiritual drive, which for a bigger and bigger, I can hear you here. If you're already spiritual and you're thinking, what's wrong with you thinking? Or if you're not, the spiritual drive aspect now in society seems to be a growing phenomenon. More and more people seem to be awakened to the spiritual nature of our being, so it's a thing. So in some markets, if you mention anything remotely spiritual, you're cast out as an idiot, a moron. What are you doing there, stupid? While in some other markets, if you don't speak deep enough about the spiritual part, you're disqualified as you don't even know what you're talking about. So whatever the drives are for your market, you need to sync your offer at the end with the drives, because the drives of the market influences the desires that they have. So drives are like, come back here, you learn better on this camera. So we have sex drive, survival drive, sex drive, status drive, and spiritual drive. So this will inform desires like meet, mate, mansion, and meaning. So these drives are like, a drive will drive you to do things. It's unconscious. It's always there. So if you're selling peanut butter and the audience has a hunger, which is like a drive or a deep need, well, this is regardless of you. So she tied what her message was with an inherent drive in the marketplace. What drive could it be? Before I turn 67, next month, urgency, I'd like to have lots of sex. Real ad, okay? Before I turn 67 next month, I'd like to have lots of sex. Okay, she tied it perfectly with the drives. So with my client Alex, so what we did, he had a talk going on. We timed the whole thing. So he knew he was speaking to multimillionaire real estate investors, and he had to talk about mindset. So how do you talk about mindset to these guys? Well, he has a story where, for example, he has a billionaire client, and this guy had a limiting belief. This guy thought that deals under X were not really good. So he worked with Alex. Alex removed that limiting belief. This guy made an extra $100 million that year. The people in the audience already want to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Alex does not have to twist their arm into wanting that. It's already their drive. It's their status drive. It's already there. Anytime you can tie what you're doing to a drive and you can spark that in the audience, it's effortless. It's like they already have all that gas. You just put a match on it. They already want it. Before I turn 67 next month, I would like to have lots of sex with. Now, remember when I told this lady I was on a Zoom call today? It starts with the offer. Okay? Doesn't matter how good your copy is, how good your suit looks, how good your diction is. If you're perfect of a speaker, if they don't want the offer, they don't want the offer. Okay? This has to be there first. What I teach in my academy, there's a concept called greater than, which is like this is greater than you and greater than everything. And this informs what stories you choose. If you are selling like a direct pitch, your greater than needs to be something that the audience would fight over if there was only one left on the shelf. Think about this. You've seen this in the States. People like Target or something, people just go there and they're fighting to get in. You see women fighting physically, fists and elbows and stuff and wigs and, okay, the whole thing over a dress in the store. So if you're selling something, now you don't want your audience to physically fight over what you're selling. But metaphorically speaking, in an analogy way of thinking, if there was only one, if you're selling freedom, if you're selling speed to money, if you're selling freedom or weight loss or whatever the thing is, if there was only 1 pound of that thing on the shelf at the supermarket, your market would have to fight over this, because this guarantees they already want it. Because we can do it. There's ways to install desires and stuff, but man, you gotta know what you're doing. You're just better off tying what you're doing to what they already deeply want. It's easier and faster for you. But then you want to have qualifying mechanisms in place, okay? At the end of this video, I'll give you a link where you can get a thing called the Ideal Client Finder. Now you need to put some qualifying mechanisms in place. If you're, like I do, rev share. I partner with you, we create your talk, your pitch, your offer, and I create six-figure days, and I'm paid on your revenue share of what we generate together. Now, I can't work with everyone. You have to have certain qualifiers in place for me to accept you in that case. So here she says, qualifying mechanism with a man I like. So she's not into women or with one person, okay, one man I like. Okay, so she doesn't specify the I like part. So this is a classified ad. The most important thing is, where did she put the qualifier? If you've not been asking yourself, where did she put this? This is the most important question. My client Alex, when he replaced his yearly income as an engineer in 20 minutes, wasn't speaking to the Association of Welfare Recipients. He was speaking to a conference of millionaires and multimillionaire real estate investors. Where did she place that ad? This Jane Juska was thinking, okay, sure, I want to have a lot of sex, but I want sophisticated men. I want classy men. Where do sophisticated men hang out? Your clients, where do they hang out? Think about this. Man, and I got unqualified leads, nobody's got money. Your ideal clients, which you should know who they are, where do they hang out? What do they read? Who do they listen to? What do they type in Google to find their problems? Okay? So she asked herself, what are they reading? She put an ad in some sort of a reading club, like some sort of a sophisticated literature club of New York or so. I forget the exact name. So this was not in the newspaper. This was not in the National Enquirer or something like that. She put that ad in fancy glasses, read with a tea with a little thing like this, place where sophisticated people go and read. Book clubs and stuff like that. So that ad stuck out. But how do I stand out in a crowded marketplace? This ad stuck out like a sore thumb. Just like this. Okay? So in a sophisticated journal, this retired high school teacher writes an ad that says, before I turn 67, next March, I'd like to have lots of sex with a man I like. Now, it's always good, if you study Dan Kennedy or any of the direct response marketing greats, to have what they call personality in copy, or humor, personality, pizzazz, spice, secret sauce, letting yourself loose. See, she goes in there and she says, she drops a line here, this word, if. She drops the line, if. Okay? If you want to talk before. I want to talk first. Okay. Can you imagine the guy, sophisticated guy, maybe just sold his company for a few $100 million or something, or just like a philosophy professor sipping his afternoon tea, reading this. Just the hair go like this. Before I turn 67 next March, I'd like to have lots of sex with a man I like. If you want to talk first, now this is where you have. It's always good to speak the language of your market. Okay, you can. If I don't know how to do. You don't know how to do this. You run traffic ads. Okay. How did Tim Ferriss choose the book title 4 Hour? Did he just pull it out of his hat? 4 Hour Work Week. How did he come up with that title? You put ads. go into a landing page. Who cares what's on the landing page? Traffic ads, people don't buy. It's just for traffic. Okay, conversion ads, people might buy. Traffic ads, most people don't buy. Plus, you get a lot of bots. Anyway, you put a few titles, and the one that gets the most click is the one that people are more interested in, and that becomes the title. Now, you always only put titles that you were actually thinking of. So there's research, thinking, feeling, wanting the thing that you're selling to be what it is. Now, you always end up with like, I don't know if it's this or if it's that. Don't worry about it. Simple traffic ad, count the clicks, you know what it is. So to speak the language of your market. So here she goes. I didn't even know what that was. Some sort of an author, Trollope, whatever. English is my second language. I'd never read some of the classics like this. So whoever that guy is, some sort of an author. I Googled it. It's an author that's probably famous that the person reading would know. So I'm not the target market for this. She probably doesn't like me, and I don't know who this guy is. So I can't talk to her before if I want to. Okay? So whatever you're writing, whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing, this is where you throw in inside baseballs. This is where you throw in terms and stuff that would create an us versus them language. So don't go into technobabble, as Russell Brunson says, or don't go into just losing people over with technical jargon, but just throwing in some words and references that your target audiences like, oh, it's smack on, but everybody else like, I don't even. So if somebody's like an unsophisticated man that somehow stumbled upon that ad, you would not know who that is. Okay, and then works for me. Come on now. This ad worked so well, she got God knows how many responses, that it's in a marketing book, like this here, Predatory Marketing by Dave Trott. Outthink Your Competition. And she wrote a whole book about that story. So by using these type of stuff where you speak, okay? Speaking is not for the fun of speaking. Speaking is to grow your business. Speaking is to generate sales and leads and conversions and networking and growing your impact, your influence, and your reach. So this influences where you go to speak. This influences what you talk about when you speak, how you talk about it, what are the references you're using. So our client Alex loved it so much, he replaced his yearly income in 20 minutes as an engineer. So he did it again 3 months later. So he did it once, and 3 months later, again, from a 20-minute talk, made more money in 20 minutes than his whole previous year as an engineer. It has to do with, think three terms, okay? I don't know how to do this. I don't want to be found out. I don't want to fake, and I don't want to just say what they want. No. It's not about you faking or trying to say what they want to hear without being yourself. Think of a triangle. Think of it like there's a messenger, okay? People talk about a lot of times about the message to market match, which is very important. But there's one piece missing a lot of times. This is why, like, I bought a course and I'm using the script and of course it doesn't feel authentic because you missed one of the M's in the three. If you only have a message to market match, it could work, but the best is a message to messenger to market match. You need all three. That's when what you talk about is something you resonate with, you have experience with, and you know what you're talking about. And you talk about it in a way that matches with the market. Because, man, people sniff you out like this. So if you're just memorizing the script and trying to say it and fake it till you make it and power pose your way through, you feel it, they feel it, and it's bad. And eventually, you're going to... And people always end up saying, screw this, I'm going to do it my way. That's always kind of what inevitably happens at one point or another. Or you prostitute yourself enough to try to fit into the mold and then make it yourself. But at one point or another, everybody ends up doing it your way. So you might as well start by building that messenger. So how do you, let's do this here. How do you build a messenger to market to message match? When you choose the topic or what you're going to be talking about, often there's like 2 or 3 angles that you could take. Much as when I was speaking to the objection cam, when you test your messaging ideas with traffic ads, you test which one of these ideas am I a most natural embodiment of. Which one fits with my natural casting? Like, I can't talk. I've been training in the gym since I'm 18 and I'm 46 now or something like that. But I cannot talk about, like, I don't have the physique to talk about that stuff. So I don't. I've been doing yoga for 15 or 20 years, but I don't have the look and the physique and the shape and some of the chops, so I don't talk about that. So there's many things you can do, but there's one of those things, if this what you put your weight into, if it's something that you can put your full weight into, you know you're going to have to speak to an audience. And if it's something that you're a bit iffy inside, change the part that you're talking about so that you have a perfect within yourself messenger fit. Because the words come out of you. You don't come out of words. So if you're trying to say the right words, but it's coming from an inauthentic place, that's why it's resonating off key, because it kind of is. So the messenger to message to market match is where it's at. Now, I promised you a free resource to figure out how to know exactly who you're speaking to, like this grandma. Where are these people hanging out? Like our client Alex. Where is that talk I need to be at? It's called the Ideal Client Finder. It's a 15-minute process you can go through. There must be a link somewhere in the description below. Get a free trial of the Transformational Speaking Academy. It's one of the resources you get for free. You get like, how many resources? God knows. I got so many tools and resources that I don't know what to do with them. So I just put them in the free trial. And I made it so that even when you cancel, we know a lot of people, they just take the free trial and then they cancel. It's okay. Take the free trial. There's a tool in there called the 15-minute Ideal Client Finder. It's going to tell you exactly to know, pinpoint who you're speaking to, what are the qualifiers, and how to know where to find them and what to say, and a whole 9 yards with just one piece of paper, 3 circles and 2 squares. That's it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. More videos coming. If you did not like it and you want to really know the algorithm of YouTube saying, I don't want to see this guy ever again, click the thumbs down really hard. And then and then click it again. Click the thumbs down twice to really let the algorithm know this was horrible. Otherwise, see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Godspeed.